In 2005, my ex-wife was pregnant with twins, and I learned that the ultrasound machine could let you hear the heartbeat of the baby. And being a nerd, I asked for 2 ultrasound machines so that we can listen simultaneously for the heartbeat of the boy and the heartbeat of the girl in the womb, and they were completely different. And I love that. I started to imagine what would happen if we could make a concert out of the heartbeats of everybody. And then once 100 people participated in this piece, the full room was filled with vital signs of the past 100 participants. Critically, once 100 participants participated, your own heartbeat would disappear from the room, like a memento mori. So when the New York Times called me a death-loving crowd pleaser, this is what they meant. I really like to think about the fact that we're here for only a little fleeting time. To me, what's important is to produce an opportunity to interrupt the normal narratives of our public space. How can we have people occupy public space in activities other than shopping? This is, to me, what's radical. How do people spend time in public space is something that I'm really interested in. We need communion. We need for people to come together. We measure tiny variations in the coloration of your skin, and with that, we detect your heartbeat and then make all the light bulbs around you beam to your heartbeat. And then again, when you retire your hand, your recording erases the oldest recording in the room. That's how the piece works in the Durham Cathedral. You'll see 3 sensors hanging, you'll put your hand, you'll take control, and you will be able to hear your own heartbeat. But when you go away, your heartbeat stays there. We have 4,500 light bulbs. So it's pretty intense. So this is an example of this kind of project that I often say that my work is incomplete and out of control. Even the piece in Durham. If no one was there to put their hand and to gift their heartbeat to the piece, it would be completely silent and quiet and there'd be no movement. It is that participation that makes it happen. And I have this feeling that by creating artworks where communities can come together, that we can be obviously less alienated and more safe. What we need to do is we need to create opportunities for people to interact, coexist, and sort of celebrate our interdependence. The word communion for me is an important word because you will hear it quite often. Artists always say, well, this artwork needs to communicate. No, sorry. Communication is fine without the artwork. You know, the role of art is not to communicate more effectively. It's to create, in fact, misunderstandings and double meanings and metaphors. All of this kind of uncontrollable communication that could happen is to be celebrated. Communion is more interested, and not necessarily as a religious communion.
Let me go into the cathedral because, as you said, you've had this installation in a forest.
Yeah.
I think you've got it in a desert.
That's right.
As well. What makes it different in a cathedral in terms of the architecture? Because I know you've had an interest, particularly in the interaction of architecture and art over the years.
Our perceptual apparatus is developed over the horizontal, right? Like this is the horizon line. This is how to see prey and how to see predators. So we're always these people. This is survival, right? It is when you don't pan your head, but when you tilt it, that the sublime happens. Yeah. It is when you tilt that you see the treetops and the stars and the nave of churches. So to work in this space with those characteristics, which are specifically to evoke that atmospheric grandeur of your head is up and it reminds you you're small, is humbling. It's incredible luxury. And I think that the project works best here because it has that tilt. It has that relationship of scale to something that's larger than us. The cathedral is also a space of becoming. You know, people come here to be transformed. Yeah. And I think that whether you're religious or not, you walk into the space, you leave a different person. Yeah. And that's incredible. The most important thing to note, though, is that this topology is custom-made for Durham Cathedral. You'll see a wave from time to time come throughout the nave. That wave shows you that the shapes of the valleys and mountains is made out of an electrocardiogram. So the shape itself is an electrocardiogram wave going through. And then another note, just as a little tip, when you remove your hand, if you look up, there will be one bulb that's brighter than the others. That's you. That's you.